Everybody, welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting of July 22nd, 2014. Roll call, please.
4 selectmen are present tonight. Mr. Holmes is absent, as well as Town Administrator Derek Sullivan is present.
Announcements.
Mr. Titlebaum.
Give me a second while I sign these. Why don't you go to the next one?
All right, Ms. White.
Yes,
Point
thank
of
you.
order. Mike's not working.
Is mine working?
Bob, you got it turned up?
Hello.
Hello. Now working? Yes?
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. I have a couple of things. A lot of people were complaining about the stinky seaweed at Little Harbor. Here's a picture of the stinky seaweed at Little Harbor. In the year 2005, the exact same thing happened. The stinky seaweed is called green fleece seaweed or dead man's fingers, and the scientific name is Codium fragile. Subspecies, I'm not even going to pretend I know how to do that one. What it really is an indication that Buzzards Bay is not healthy. What should be growing in the water is eelgrass. This green stinky stuff actually kills out eelgrass, it kills shellfish, and the wrack that is collected on the beach stinks because of all of the things that are washed up in it. Eelgrass doesn't do that. Eelgrass is the natural plant that belongs here. How come this has happened again? Nitrogen, the lack of eelgrass in the bay. I'm sure you can't see it, but in 1980, the greenies were eelgrass, and this is 1996, okay? So eelgrass is your friend, except I don't like it sticking to me. And that's what is on the beach, okay? Secondly, I'd like to remind people that there is a concert on Thursday at the library, Land's End Music. It is a fundraiser for the library. On Sunday at approximately 11 a.m., the young adults from St. Patrick's Church are going to have a celebration with the entire congregation invited, and you too, to Wee Wee Antic Playground, which they've put a lot of time and effort into. It looks great over there, so I urge you to go cheer them on. And then I have something sad that I'd like to report. Many of you may have known Francis, known as Hoagie Carmichael, who died last week. Mr. Carmichael has been a long-time Wareham resident. He started his military career in the Army and then transferred to the U.S. Air Force. He served in the Air Force until 1961, when his service was then transferred to the Massachusetts Air National Guard. He retired from the Massachusetts Air National Guard in 1992 as Senior Master Sergeant. He was active in many, many military and town committees. He was past commander of the American Legion Post 220, past district commander, American Legion District 10, president of the Air Force Association of Massachusetts, member of 40 and 8, Voiture number 49 of Plymouth, member of Wareham, New Bedford Lodge of Elks 73, member of Benjamin Cushing VFW Post 2425 in Marion. And the reason I know him is that he also served 6 years on the Town Finance Committee when I first was involved in being involved in the town of Wareham. Those were the days when we had manual typewriters, no computers, long yellow sheets of paper, and we met approximately 4 days a week from 7 to 11 o'clock at night. Godspeed, my friend.
I have nothing.
Just as a backup to Mrs. Whiteside, she's correct about the eelgrass, which is something that has been slowly coming back. When we have storms, which we've had quite a few in the last month, it basically rips up Buzzards Bay, and that particular type of seaweed just gets pulled in, and of course the ideal place is Little Harbor. It gets in. There's not a great current going back out with the tides being so low there as far as the water depth, and that stuff comes in, it gets trapped, and it virtually doesn't go anywhere. Normally it would come in and go out. I've seen it happen probably at least 10 times in the last 5 years. The same issue itself. The Buzzards Bay Production Playhouse, they're in their full swing right now. Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays in July at 6:30 is free admission. That's actually down at the Prospect Park at Austin Village. We're doing Romeo and Juliet there. Sean England and Mark T. Small will be on Saturday, July 26th, $10 at the door. They're doing the cabaret shows, the first show of our second season, July 24th, 7 to 9 p.m., July 26th, 1 to 4 p.m., callbacks July 27th, 1 to 4 p.m. at the Playhouse. Wareham Metal Fest on Friday, July 25th. I'll read the name of the lineup. I have no idea what any of these groups are, unfortunately. Absence of Despair, Apollo's Resurrection, Over With, Sleeping Statues, Blood of Odin, Sunday Lyre, and more. Doors open at 5:30. Tickets are $12 at the door. Yes, I'm sorry. Kids Summer Theater Workshops, which is a really good time for the kids and parents. The workshops start in August 4th, 5th, 6th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Those are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's $150 for the whole workshop if you have the kids registered. Pre-registration is required. Performances start on Wednesday, August 13th at noon. And that's it for that. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Peter.
Yes, just to follow up on Selectman Whiteside's comments about the condition of Little Harbor. Town Administrator Sullivan and I actually drove down there today, took a look at it. Notwithstanding what I read in a media report, there were about 25 cars down there, multiple families on the beach. I will concede that it wasn't the most pleasant smelling product that was on the beach, but it's clear to me that it all came at once, that it's not a matter of lengthy neglect down there or a pile up of seaweed that went on for months, as seemed to be alleged in an article. Rather, it was a consistent greenish product, not the same old black seaweed that you see on all the beaches all the time with every single tide. So I don't think it's a matter of municipal maintenance slacking off here. I think it's a matter of one storm event that happened at a time when municipal maintenance simply didn't have the bodies to go down and rake that or any other beach. So that's what I think happened there. The other thing I'd like to just announce generally is that for anybody who's interested in taking the Cape Flyer down from Boston to take in a Gateman game, go on the Gateman website. It'll give you further information about that. I understand the first game took place last Friday night. I thought the train was supposed to leave Wareham around 10 o'clock. I came through town at about 10:40 and it was sitting there, so maybe it was an extra inning game. I don't know. But if you want to have friends and family from up there come down, meet you.
It's an 11-inning game.
It was an 11-inning game? Okay, say, all right. So it did go a little extra. They can take the train down, get off station here, get transported up to the ball field, take in a ball game for pretty cheap money, certainly a lot cheaper than it costs to go to Fenway or even Pawtucket for that matter, and have a great time and then take the train back home. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, next up is discussion and vote on the disposal of materials at the municipal maintenance facility. Mr. Menard, could you come down, please?
All right, the pile of stuff we have at our municipal maintenance barn is, we have like a 30-year compost pile, some road gravel material mixed with tar, street sweepings, a concrete pile that I've been trying to clean up the yard. So I got together with Green Seal Engineering and, trying to get some feedback, and he hooked me up with a man from Lopes that's willing to grab all these materials off us for no cost to the town. So I'm looking to surplus this stuff to clean up the yard.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Titlebaum?
None.
Mrs. Whiteside?
I just have one. You're not including the granite.
No.
Thank you.
I have no question. I move that we approve the disposition and cleaning of the municipal maintenance facility.
Second.
Any questions? Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Just one question, nothing exceeds the dollar amount. Mr. Sullivan, as far as procurement laws that they're going to be disposing of for bid process?
We're going to follow whatever we need to do for it. The first step is have the selectmen vote it surplus.
Okay, and you'll take care of it if it exceeds the dollar amount triggers. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400.
May I just make a comment? Long overdue, and congratulations for
Thank you.
doing what needs to be done.
Next up is maintenance of private roads, Chapter 90 lists.
We have a list basically that we submit every year to the state, which is basically public accepted roads as far as we're concerned. I brought this up, the town administrator probably can help on this. My concern is that we basically passed that chapter 40, section 6 of the Mass General Laws that allows us to use public funds for private ways. But we still have the issue of certain private roads won't qualify because of the way they're set up, etc. So my question is, how are we going from here? Because we get reimbursed on our Chapter 90 money based on what we have as public roads submitted to the state. And we have a bunch of roads that don't get submitted at all. And I just want to know, are we going to get an intern in, or somebody's going to come in to finish up the actual list, so before snow hits, we have a list of who we're plowing and who we may not be plowing?
The only way the persons would not
No.
get plowed is if they are not open to the public.
Right.
They need
Yeah.
to be open to the public. Whether they're on the Chapter 90 list or not, they will still be plowed.
Okay. Are we going to get a list together of which ones are not open to the public?
We would have to in order to do that, we would actually need a body to go around taking the pictures and such. We saw some today on our travels, and then we will have to let the persons on that road know. There's also, again, there's the issue, we drove down a road or two that I would not have our plows go down for safety's sake.
Okay.
The potholes were major, and the guys running a blade down there they're going to have issues. So
David, you have a list put together yet of the roads that you know is going to be an issue?
That I don't have a
That
list
don't
together now.
qualify?
No, I do not. I haven't been out there to do that yet, so I wasn't asked to
Would
do
you like
so.
me to see if I can find an intern to help us?
well, we can find an intern for it, but it's going to be up to this body to explain to me what they want out of it. Because right now, we have no way to say no to anybody.
Right.
So I need the selectmen to vote. We've brought information before the Board of Selectmen, what other towns are doing. We're going to need to know what the policy is. Right now, it's we had asked for a minimum maintenance standard. Obviously the open to the public, it needs to be, that's one within the state law itself. So that's the only criteria that would prevent anybody right now. I don't know whether our contractors or our own employees will refuse to go down some of those roads or not. We won't know that till it happens.
Well,
They've been plowing those roads, Mr. Chairman, they've been plowing those roads for decades.
yeah, exactly.
And again, I don't think that, with regard to the issue of postings that may say, private road, police take notice, or what have you, I think fairness to the people who've been living there, I'm sure the signs certainly predated any discussion of whether we were plowing private ways, and if some of these signs are in such a condition, they've been up there for 20, 30, 50 years. I think certainly the residents of those streets deserve fair warning that if they continue to leave these signs up, they're going to have an issue when the snow starts to fly. I don't think we just willy-nilly start striking people off of lists. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's what the people in the town voted for when they voted about 900 to 200 to essentially tell us to keep doing business the same way.
It's not what I'm really asking, but go ahead, Mrs. Whiteside.
It seems to me that we have to have some kind of minimum standards for all ways, all public ways, whether they're accepted and a lot of the stuff. In the Dennis recommendation, there must be ample room for emergency vehicles to turn around if the road is a dead end. Paved or unpaved private roads shall have no defects, potholes, or ruts exceeding 2 inches in depth. 2 inches in depth is not a whole lot, and part of a street that I know of is actually town road, and the other portion of it is private. And the town has historically graded the road before the winter and graded the road in spring. But that has been town equipment. And I got to tell you that, yes, we all live here, or we don't all live here, but we all live here. And there must be some way of making sure that we are not putting our employees at risk and our equipment at risk in roads that simply don't comply to the law or our recommendations. So I think we need to actually come up with the recommendations as you have suggested here. Did that answer you?
Well, basically, that's what I'm trying to get at. We talked about this before, we kind of left it hanging, never really cleaned it up, so, go ahead, Mr. Tropiano.
All right, so I'm with Peter on this. We've been plowing these roads forever. The roads have been in whatever shape over the years. Sometimes they get to them, sometimes they don't. I've been plowing for years myself, okay? And plowed lots of roads. Plowed roads that weren't paved. Did all kinds of plowing over the years. And, look, the people went to the ballot and they decided they wanted their private roads plowed. And we're going to plow them. As far as I'm concerned, we're going to plow them. Now, as far as the people with roads that say they don't want anybody down there during the summer, but during the winter they want us to plow them, we have to put them on notice that if they want their roads private in the summer, they're going to be private in the winter too. All right? That's only fair. That's fairness right there. In other words, you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's not right. Now, and we know who we're talking about. We're talking about Hamilton Beach. We're talking about some of these places that they don't even allow people to drive on their road. Okay? And that's not right. You can't just say, okay, and that's fine. If you want to do that, it's okay with me. But we're not going to plow your road because you plow it. You want to keep it that private. You put your things across. You do whatever you want. Then you take care of it. Not us. I get that. But as far as plowing the other roads, look, we can't say all of a sudden, well, you've got to bring it up to our minimum standard. They haven't been the minimum standard ever.
Well,
Yeah, they were.
on one hand, we used to always grade most of these private roads.
Yes, we did.
Now, when we changed this policy, probably a little over a year ago, these roads are starting to deteriorate rapidly. Tree growth and huge washouts, stuff like that we haven't really been taking care of unless they're a police call that tells me that they can't access the road. Then we've gone down and actually taken care of some of these private things because they haven't had access down them. Besides that, these roads are getting pretty bad for trucks to roll down, even to plow them.
Well, then, we're going to have to do something about it. I mean, go out there and grade the roads again. I don't see any reason to stop taking care of the roads. We've been doing it for years, guys. I'm sorry.
But you have your own policy, and that you've accepted.
I have
that-
what?
The Selectmen policy. It states that we do not maintain private roads unless we charge for it.
Yeah.
And that's also a mass general law that the town accepted.
You can keep saying this, and you guys can keep wanting to put stuff back on the residents, and you can keep wanting to do this stuff, okay? But it's not right. They pay taxes just like everybody else. And it isn't that the road, just because their road didn't happen to get accepted along the way. A lot of towns used to accept the whole subdivisions all at once. They used to bring them in, accept them, done. Okay? And then all the roads were accepted in the subdivision. And they did it back then. And that's the condition of the roads. See, all these roads, when they were put in, were up to standard at the time they were installed. Time has changed. We can't all of a sudden tell people, all right, we're not plowing your road, and by the way, we're going to charge you for this, and we're going to charge you for that, we're going to do this and that. I get it. Look, I don't know what we think we're doing here. I don't get it.
Well, I would say we're almost at a chicken and an egg. I would have no problem upgrading these and bringing them on so we'd get the Chapter 90 monies. But Selectmen, where's the money?
I know.
We don't have the money. So now we're going to roll around in a circle, destroying our equipment that we can't pay for. $20,000 last year just on lights, mirrors, and such from these side roads that we're all buried in. I mean, that may sound like chump change. Somebody says you have a $60 million budget, 20,000's nothing. It's not anymore. That's a position. So that's what I'm asking from the Board of Selectmen. We don't have the money to do it. How are we going to do it?
Mrs. Whiteside.
I hear what you're saying, Mr. Patrick Tropiano, but I think that some of these other towns who are very similar to us have adopted some policies that make sense. Residents of a private road who desire winter maintenance must submit a notice requesting the DPW municipal maintenance to consider plowing their streets along with a waiver of liability, holding the town harmless for any damage caused to the road and surrounding property by October 1st. So, the people who live on Ralph Grab-a-Sandwich Lane can come to you, and the petition must be signed by 100% of the abutters, owners of the private road, unless an association exists, blah, 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 blah. Then, what?
100%, that's ridiculous on the face of it.
I'm just reading the policy.
I know, but, I mean, come on. You can't get 100% people who agree that the sun came out today.
It did. And then the DPW will inspect the road to ensure that it passes minimum standards, you know, the 2-inch potholes and things like that. I don't think that's a burden on people who want their roads plowed. What we're saying is, and what this town did. Okay, you know what? You can all talk to yourselves.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I have no intentions of making ridiculous policy for plowing of roads. I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to figure out a way, and we're gonna have to plow the down roads, and that's all there is to it, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm going to go back to, again, we have a policy in place. We don't have funding to do it, and we haven't modified a policy there. All we did was accept a particular statute from the state, and that state has a couple what I will call loopholes in that statute as well. And we have to make a decision what we're going to do, because you can't leave it halfway and go through it and start and come into the fall season, come into the winter, and all of a sudden say we're doing this, we're not doing that. Mr. Titlebaum.
But my problem with this is that we're trying to solve this all right out of the gate, and as we've seen with many things we've tried to undertake in the past, trying to come up with the comprehensive global solution the first year right out of the gate is usually a lot more complicated process than it looks at first blush. It's all fine and good to take what somebody else has done, adopted one of these policies. You don't know what the background is on these things. You don't know how long they gave residents to get their streets into shape before they adopted this policy. You don't know how much notice was. You're already halfway through. You know, if you look at a construction season as beginning in April and ending in November, you're halfway through it. How are these people going to be able to get the people out there to do their roads? Can you even get somebody to tower a road, for example, now, or grade a road? Are these guys all committed for the season? These are all considerations you have to take into account before we just impose policy, and I don't think we've done that.
We have been
Mrs.
kicking
Whiteside?
this around for more than a year because we got it on the ballot. And it is very clear to me that unless we have some safeguards for the town, we are holding the old loaded gun up, and you're going to be in here, Mr. Menard is going to be in here, he's not going to be able to plow the roads. He's not going to have the equipment. When he replaces the equipment, then he's not going to be able to pay the private contractors. Unless the roads are in some kind of condition, and if I lived, on a road that had a whole lot of potholes, I'd love to have it filled in. So my neighbors and I would join together and, get it graded. There are a lot of people with plows. There are a lot of construction workers in the town of Wareham alone, let alone the surrounding communities. I think it defies me, it defies my understanding to have you say that this is, we're just doing this. We've had this on the agenda a couple of times, including 2 months ago, this same information. In fact, it's dated April 8th of this year. So we've been kicking this around 3 months. I don't call that winging it.
We put this on hold originally just to go through town meeting for the actual vote, which we got. We haven't done anything with it since April. So it's been sitting. The problem is, I don't want to be in a position again. I'm not saying we're going to go have a final policy, but we need to start working on this because we should have been working on it for 2 months already. And that's the issue.
It's easy to have a policy.
It's not a policy, but you can take a policy and work it out and see how it's going to
The
flow.
policy's easy, just plow everybody's road, and forget it.
But you,
That's an easy policy.
the problem you have is, does Mr. Sullivan have money in his budget to handle that or not?
You know what?
You can't spend money that you don't have, Patrick.
You know, I get that, but you know what? Every year, we've had the same issues with plowing, and some years it cost us more, some cost us less. And all of a sudden, the plowing, all of a sudden, we're trying to get out from underneath plowing roads that we've plowed for a gazillion years.
That's not what it is.
That's exactly what
No,
we're trying to
what-
do.
what
Because
the-
we don't want to pay the money. Come on, we're not kidding anybody.
Yeah, we don't want to pay the money that we don't have.
I disagree with you, Mr. Tropiano. I think that we are trying to ensure the safeguards of the town equipment and employees, and which was not done in the past. I'm not interested in the past. It happened, that's nice. We know better now. We have been instructed by the townspeople what they would like to have happen. Now we have to come up with a way that doesn't ruin every piece of equipment that this gentleman has. Doesn't,
It's not fair to say that all the dirt roads are messed up. Some people do take care of their
Right.
dirt roads. So, like I said, it's the people that don't take care of their roadways, that's what they're looking at, to make it fair across the board for the ones that are.
Mr. Titlebaum.
Is there any way, or is there anyone actually who can, through, going out and looking at these roads, and from their own memory, recall whether they're in worse shape than they were a year ago? Because a year ago, we weren't having this discussion. We weren't talking about damage to plows particularly. I know Mr. Sullivan talked about $20,000 worth of damage. I think at that point in time, we were accepting that pretty much as a cost of doing business.
It is the cost of doing business.
So what I need to know before
I repair my plows 3 or 4 times a year. I mean, easily.
before we vote on any policy, we need more information. And I know it's unfair to ask you for it, but how do we get the information? How do we get an assessment that the public ways, the private roads, because we're not doing anything with them this year, because your guys aren't going out grading or filling in or doing this, that, and the other thing, that you've got roads that have deteriorated to the point where now they are a menace to the plows versus last year when they just got plowed. How do we do that?
Some of them we weren't able to plow with regular traditional equipment. Going down there with machinery, that's how bad these roads are. And now some of them, there's a couple out there that even machinery are getting stuck trying to get down there. They're so far gone. That was last season. Doing the best we can, trying to get it done.
Oh, no, I appreciate the fact that your department does do the best it can to get it done. I think you do a damn good job, especially compared to some of the wealthier towns up around Boston. I see that you can hardly get around for 2 days after a snowstorm. But that having been said, you got to put the property owners in a position to cure the defect. And I don't think you do that without having a sense of what the baseline is for you to get the job done, and some information being given to the property owners that, your road is deficient, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. I just don't know where that starts.
It starts here. We have to sit down and start to lay something out. We haven't.
I'd like to listen to the truck drivers, frankly, rather than ourselves.
Well, it's not us that's going to be able to set it up. It's going to have to come from town, from maintenance, etc. Because you're looking at a situation where you have to solve an issue that you have, and we haven't made the attempt to finish that yet. We're not going to have a policy here today. I don't expect that. What I expect is to start the discussion and figure out how we're going to do it, because we are constricted to what we can and can't do. This is Whiteside.
there are at least 3 official lists of private and public roads.
Yeah.
There's one on the town website. There's one maintained by the police department.
And the
And then
clerk's
there's-
office. Clerk's office.
And the
too.
clerk's office, okay? They don't match. So, you know, if the town is supplying 3 sets of information, I'm not sure where we can start, and it isn't an overnight process, and we should have been working on this 3 months ago when we first talked about it. If you know that you live on a private road or a non-accepted road, then I would suggest that maybe you, the property owner, be proactive and get together and, figure out if you do want your road plowed. Because not all private roads say private road on them. And again, I'm coming back to the fiscal responsibility that we have. And I am backing Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Menard up 100% on their worry about how to pay for it.
Anything else from the board?
You're not getting my vote, I can tell you that right now.
We're not voting on it.
No, but you're going to create a policy that I'm not gonna like, I can tell you right now, because it's gonna include not plowing some of these people's roads, and I'm not voting for it. I can tell you that right now. I will hang from a tree before I vote for a policy. Okay, I'm telling you right now. I will hang from a tree first,
Okay.
I don't know if we
before
have
we
any,
don't plow these people's roads.
I don't think we have any branches big enough, they all get knocked down by the
Yeah, I
plows.
know. The mirrors knocked them down.
Yeah, exactly.
How would you like to move forward as a board as far as this issue? Do you want information to come back from municipal maintenance back to us? What do you want to do? We
Yeah, we
need to
could do
start
that.
the process no matter what, because we can't wait till November, December.
Look, I'm happy to work with municipal maintenance, I'm happy to talk to the employees, I'm happy to find out what they say the issues are. But I don't feel comfortable sitting up here pretending that I'm a god of plowing when I don't know a damn thing about it.
There's a lot of things that we do we aren't gods of, obviously. Do we want to go ahead and have some kind of workshop where people come in and show the different issues, whatever? How do you want to handle it? We need to do something, because you can't just let it sit. Because it's not fair to the town administrator, it's not fair to municipal maintenance, and it's not fair to the residents, because you can't guarantee you're going to be able to do what they think is going to happen.
I think if you have a workshop and invite the public on a Saturday as opposed to, middle of the day kind of thing, that they can bring their issues forward. I'm not saying that we're not going to plow the roads. I'm saying that we need to know what we're dealing with. That's all we need to know. And that's huge, because there are 3 different lists, and they don't match.
Go ahead.
I gotta say one more thing. I don't know how it's unfair to the town administrator and municipal maintenance to be talking about plowing roads after we've been plowing them for probably 150 years. Well, sorry,
No,
100 years.
no,
Okay?
because the roads
I don't
used to
know
be
how
made
that all
out
a
of
sudden
shells,
became
and they were
unfair.
not being
They've
plowed.
been doing it for a long, long time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
The only item I'd say on that is we hit that argument every day from our employees to you change the way you're going to do something to a resident that may not like an issue. I have a resident that wants me to cut down their neighbor's tree because it's leaning over his house, because we used to do those sorts of things in the past. And at some point, a history of doing something incorrectly doesn't mean you should keep on doing it that way. And that's my only last comment on it. I will.
I'm just going to make an analogy. This is very much like the issues we have with trash, that we've had to bite the bullet and come up with a different program because of what the constrictions are. And these are just things that we're going to have to deal with. We're in a different world, and we have to come up with different ways to do things. But all I'm trying to say is I don't want to sit there come December and not have something in place that works.
Frankly, no one's going to die if there's trash on the beach. But people may die if they can't get down their road.
I'm not disagreeing with you,
People could
Patrick.
die from the trash on the beach.
Please don't jinx us. Don't jinx
Don't
us.
say that.
Don't even go there.
You get a rabid skunk and you're all set.
Rabid skunk.
We have a lot of them.
I'd be happy to work with chief, acting chief, town clerk, and the lists to see if I can come up with, a list of what I know are public roads. And I would be happy to sit in the clerk's office and go back all through the town meeting votes to get that information as current as possible. And I'd love volunteers to join me.
The one item you have to remember is it doesn't just matter if town meeting voted for it. It had to be registered within a certain amount of time. Also, I'd say that we need to remind the persons who were just approved to be accepted town ways, that we need to make sure that they record them before that gets stale, or they'll lose that.
All you gotta do is go to the registry of deeds with all the town roads on the thing and look each road up.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you whether they've been recorded or they haven't. That's how you have to do it. And it's a
Some-
long process because somebody's gotta actually go to the books, open them up and look.
Well, the only item is we do have a problem where some of the town meetings, it's my belief, I can't prove it to you, passed it, and it never got registered or recorded,
If they
I
didn't
should
get
say.
registered, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you start with the clerk's records.
No, what you do is
Yeah,
you take
you
it, no, you can take, all you have to do is take the road names, go to the registry of deeds, look up each road, and it'll tell you if it's been recorded and accepted.
You don't even have to do that, you can do the research online.
Yeah, you can do it online if you have access to the database, yeah.
It's available.
Everybody has
online.
access to the database, you just can't print from it.
That's
That's
correct.
true, now they let you do that. They used to
Yeah.
charge you a fee though, because I belong to it.
Oh, yeah.
Now they don't. Now they
Okay.
let you do everything but print.
Let's get back. Mr. Titlebaum, are you going to go ahead and do a workshop? That you
A workshop.
talked about doing a workshop.
No, what I talked about was discussing with municipal maintenance and their employees what the issues are, where the problem roads have been in the past, and to get a sense, I mean, look, again, we're sitting here in a vacuum. We travel certain roads every day, we travel other roads never at all.
You want to come back to us in 2 weeks?
So I'm more than happy to come back in a couple of weeks
He's
and
gotta
discuss
know what
that.
the roads are that are bad.
Mrs. Whiteside, you want to take care of yours?
Yeah, but
in
I don't
a
wanna
couple
put him
weeks,
on the
get back to
spot.
us?
Well, well, I don't
Come
mean
back,
now.
Patrick,
Yeah.
hold on, please.
I don't mean now.
Patrick,
What?
Mrs. Whiteside,
I'm sorry.
you want to come back in 2 weeks with what you have?
Yes, thank you.
I will reschedule this for the meeting, I believe, of August 12th, because we're not meeting next week.
Right, and the following week is the National Night Out, correct? First week of August?
Unfortunately, it's the day of our meeting, because we will not be meeting on the 29th, so we will meet, on the 5th.
Why don't we move it to either the Monday or the Wednesday?
Yeah.
We can discuss it tonight if you'd like.
I think that makes sense.
Look, can't really see the.
That's the check they put in.
Why do I have
No, no, I don't
to check
care
in?
about
They
that.
left
Look at
it
the
in there.
calendar for next meetings.
Got to go back to the office with it.
Mr. Menard, thank you very much for your
Okay.
time. I appreciate it.
Thank
All
you,
right.
David.
Thanks.
Dave.
Appreciate the time.
Have a good night.
Thanks for the
you.
great
So
work as
again,
always.
just to confirm for the office, Mr. Titlebaum will be working with Mr. Menard.
Yep.
Mrs. Whiteside will be working with the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds. We'll be coming back August 12th. Thank you. Next,
Hope you have a
please.
lot of bandwidth.
All right, next up is citizens' participation.
We
Anyone
have any
want to
cit-
talk to us?
Did we have National Night Out real quick too?
Seeing
with
none, we'll
IEC?
move
yeah.
on.
I'm
What?
sorry, what did you just call for?
We just did citizens'
Citizens.
participation. License and permits, application,
We're going to do the one for National Night Out to get Carl out of here.
national night?
Yes.
Where's that? Hold on.
Right here.
Yeah. Status, hold on.
7C.
Town property, notice of intent. Hold on, let me find it so we can get Carl out of here. National night out. Come on down, Carl. You're up.
Never
You're the
upset
next
the guy with the
contestant on
sidearm.
on This Is Your Selectman.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm here on behalf of the police department. Lieutenant Walsett couldn't make it tonight. And
Yeah, him, he can put it on
employees
the
of
top.
Target that
Get
participated
close to the mic. Sorry.
couldn't make it also, so I'm here alone. Just want to let the town know that we have a national night out again. This is our fifth year. It's again being held at Lopes Field. It's National Night Out. It's a national program for safer communities. It's done nationally on the first Tuesday of every August. It's all done, we have donations. Everything's done mostly by donations. Target's a partner with us. There's a grant that we get through Target. This year, I'm happy to announce that we're having it'll be similar to last year, if you ever attended. This year, we're going to have, and I'm happy about this, she's an 8-year-old. She was a Wareham resident, lived on Oak Street, and she lives in Carver now. Her name is Ava Freitas, and she's a singer. And she opened up for Kiss on a Wait concert in May. If you know Jennifer Lopez, she's opened up for a lot of big acts. So that was confirmed today. I got a call back from her father that said she'd definitely be here. So I'm excited about that. So that'll be our big thing this year. Along with we'll have a DJ. We'll have the free hot dogs again. We'll have the moonwalk, the jumpies, the slide. We'll have a canine demonstration. We'll have the fire departments there, putting on their things that they do. And we'll have the parade. We're going to have the Wareham Tigers will be marching again. This year we'll be honoring a Wareham Tiger for the Stephen Brown Courageous Youth Award. And he is a Wareham Tiger. So we have them marching again. And if there's any other youth committees, any other youth groups or whatever that want to march, just get in touch with me. We can put them in the parade. The parade goes from the Onset Pier to Lopes Field, and that'll be at 6 o'clock. We'll kick off from the pier at 5:45.
Okay.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Titlebaum?
Nope, thank you once again for all your work on this.
Thank you.
Mrs. Whiteside?
Yes. Are you planning on having porta potties?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
We always do.
You,
Those are donated too.
okay, great, thank you.
Mr. Tropiano?
I move,
No hanging from the trees yet.
no, I move we approve the use of town property for National Night Out celebration on Tuesday, August 5th, 2014, from 5:30 to 9:30, to include a parade from Onset Pier to Lopes Field.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Please thank Lieutenant Walchuk as well.
Thank the Elks for the hot dogs.
All right, the next up is application for a change of manager at the Elks.
Mrs. Catulli will not be here tonight. The Elks does their bingo night on Tuesday nights. Mrs. Catulli is the actual treasurer of the Elks as well, so we can just go ahead and forward and
All right.
take care of it.
I move we approve the change of manager from Maniel J. Garcia to Bonnie Jean Catulli,
Second.
2855 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Massachusetts.
Second.
The Corey and everything is here, guys. So-
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mr. Titlebaum. Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 400. Thank you.
Here you go. Next up, status of the pier.
Nope. Dudley.
No, sorry, Dudley Brown. I don't know how it got out of the way.
Citizens participation.
Notice
We already did. Nobody's raised their hand.
Nobody went.
You called it? Wow.
Yes.
I did. I called it. All right, next up is Dudley Brown, post 2846. Is he here? Come on down. They're looking for a one-day license for July 22nd, 2014. No, I'm sorry.
August 2nd.
August 2nd, 2014, between 1 and 8 p.m., and this would be in the pavilion as usual.
Yeah.
All right, I move we approve the application of Dudley Brown Post for August 2nd, 2014, between the hours of 1 and 8 p.m. for an all-alcoholic license.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Would you like to tell us what the event is before we vote?
Yes, it's a family gathering.
That's it? Good
That's
enough?
it.
Good enough.
No other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Thank you.
400. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for the rest of them.
All right, the application for the Elks, I don't see here. Hold on a minute, dude. What a signature.
The Elks just wanted to have a check in it. You just did it.
Oh, we did it already, yeah. Sorry.
Town business.
And did that one, okay. Next is the status of pier and oysters.
That's on hold. Mr. Buckminster does not have the information.
All right,
Still waiting for the survey.
all right.
He will let us know when they're ready for both the oyster status and the pier status.
All right, establish the dates for town meeting. You want to do this?
I have, if the newspaper reporters would like, I have a copy for each one of them, so they won't make any errors. If they'd like to come up, or one come up and pass them out. Never say we don't trust you. There's three there, isn't there?
Do you want me to read
I
this?
left it there.
You want me to read all this?
Yeah, we have to read it into the record.
Okay.
We have the actual.
All right, so, calling a town meeting for October 27, 2014, general business. Tuesday, July 22nd, 2014, the Board of Selectmen should establish all dates for the completion of the warrant for the fall town meeting. Friday, August 8th, 2014, any articles that is not a citizen's petition article that would be a department head, board, committee, must be submitted by the close of business for the consideration and inclusion in the warrant by the Board of Selectmen Policy 88-9, no later than 30 days before the close of the warrant. Friday, August 29th, 2014, last day to post in at least one public place in each precinct notice of intent for the Board of Selectmen to call the fall town meeting for October 27, 2014. That's a bylaw, Division 1, Article 1, Section 3, 10 days notice before the warrant closes. Friday, September 12th, 2014, last day to submit petition articles to be inserted in the warrant. That's Wareham Home Rule Charter, Section 2-4, 45 days prior to town meeting convening. Tuesday, September 16th, 2014, the Board of Selectmen should officially close the warrant. Friday, September 19th, 2004, the last day to post in each precinct and deliver a copy of the warrant to the town moderator and to the chairman of each committee established by Section 2-5 Wareham Home Rule Charter within 3 days of closing of the warrant. Monday, September 22nd, 2014, last day to submit to the Finance Committee articles included in the warrant. Bylaw, Division 1, Article 1, Section 1, no later than 35 days before town meeting convenes. Thursday, October 9, 2014, last day to publish the entire warrant in a local newspaper. Wareham Home Rule Charter, Section 2-4, not less than 14 days before town meeting. Monday, October 27, 2014, commencement of annual town meeting, Bylaw, Division 1, Article 1, Section 1, fall town meeting shall be held on the fourth Monday of October. Now, I guess I have to read the next part, right? Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Plymouth, SS. To either of the constables of the town of Wareham, greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in accordance with the provisions of Division 1, Article 1, Section 3 of the bylaws of the town of Wareham, amended, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the legal voters of the town of Wareham that the fall town meeting has been called by the Board of Selectmen to be held at 7 p.m. on Monday, October 27, 2014, at which time the business of the town meeting shall be transacted. The last date for submission of articles to be inserted into the warrant is Friday, September 12, 2014. The warrant for this meeting will close on Tuesday, September 16, 2014. You are hereby directed to serve this notice by posting attested copies thereof in at least one public place in each precinct within the town on or before Friday, September 16, 2014. Hereof fail not and make due return of this posting with your doings thereof to the town clerk, given under our hand at Wareham this 22nd day of July in the year 2014. A true copy attested, Wareham Board of Selectmen. I have to read that.
That's your motion? We have a second on that?
Yeah, I need a second.
Second.
Second for discussion.
Okay.
Motion by
I have no-
Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside.
The discussion issue is it seems that we're putting quite a burden on the town departments to come up with the warrant articles. Our policy specifies 30 days before we close the warrant, which is going to be the 16th. Even if we adhere to that, we're still over a week ahead of where we need to be.
I think it was rounded off time-wise. What we're trying to do is get them in so we have time to discuss them, et cetera, because that's the time frame.
Yeah, but I would suggest
There's
that if our
also-
policy is 30 days, I don't see the need to go out 38, which is what we're doing here. We can go out
Sounds-
31, and then we're complying with the policy.
We have a couple holidays and stuff in there. It's up to you, but we put it in there to give us a rounded off time frame.
No, I understand giving us the time, but I think we need to give the department heads and the
If
town
you want-
administrator the time as well, because
If you
they
want-
understand they're on vacation and
Yeah,
everything else
if you
too at
want,
this
you
time
can
of year.
change it to the 13th or the 16th, 14th, but all I'm trying to get at is, you normally cut it off at that time frame.
I would say the 15th,
15th.
because that's a Friday, and then they know by the close of business that week. At least we're giving them one more week.
Yeah, because I'd say otherwise, I wouldn't even worry about it, because I don't think you'll have any articles.
I know, but unfortunately, that's
Yeah.
why we try to change these dates before.
Can we start setting the dates? Maybe go out 120 days out to note so we can notify the department heads and such. Because I think if we're giving notification now, this is
But a lot of these,
120 days.
Mr. Chairman, a lot of these warrant articles relate to changing what we did at the Springtown meeting, and so you've got to get into your budget before you see if you need a fix. So if you put it out 120 days from October, I don't know what experience they're going to have with this year's budget before they're expected to.
These are normally articles that would be from like CPC. They would not be the town administrator's budget adjustment articles. They would be from actual committees that may want to do something. They're really not money articles except for CPC.
Well, but our problem is our policy specifically states department head, board, or committee. You've actually culled the language right from the
I understand.
policy, as I understand, which is what we've always done.
Yeah.
So,
You know, Peter, I mean, everybody knows the town meeting's coming.
oh, I know.
I mean, they can start 120 days before if they choose. You know what I mean? Like, it's coming. Everybody knows. We have one every year. And you know what? It's the same day. It's held on the fourth Monday of October, every single year.
Yeah, well, people
I
know
mean,
Chris-
You
people know
want to
Chris-
start 120 days before? Be my guest.
Well, people know Christmas comes every year too, and on the 24th, the stores are pretty crowded, so
Well,
I'll
that's not
leave you
our-
with,
that's,
I
you
know, but,
Pre-plan and poor planning on your part is not a crisis on mine.
no, but I would suggest if we're gonna say 30 days, let's at least kick it to the April 15th.
one of the things we've been trying to do is get away from placeholder
April 15th?
articles. I would be prepared to be inundated with placeholder articles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but-
that's okay. I mean, you know, April 15th, you mean August 15th?
August 15th.
So you want to change August 8th to August 15th?
Yeah, 1 week.
All right, I mean, you want to do that in 1 week, let's do it.
1 week, 1 week.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure that's actual 30 full days because of the holidays.
Well, let's just look at a calendar. We got one right over there. It shouldn't be, this isn't higher mathematics. We got 15 days in August, and what is this, 15 and 16? I wasn't a math major, but that comes up to 31 in my head.
Okay, we'll leave it at the 15th.
Is 31 bigger than 30? That's the final question.
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're
All
an
right,
accountant,
so-
right? So you know this stuff.
All right, so we will change Friday, August 15th, 2014.
You can
Any
change that.
article that is not citizens' participation article that would be a department head, board, or committee must be submitted by the close of business for consideration and inclusion in the warrant by the Board of Selectmen Policy 88-9, no later than 30 days, and we're making it 31.
31 days.
And I amend my second to include that date.
And the newspapers need to amend theirs too.
Okay, so you need to fix that, everybody out there.
Any other discussion? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain, opposed, 400.
All right, so did I give you the thing to sign here?
Probably not.
No, there you go. Sign that. Now, these here, you have to sign all this stuff.
I think I did.
You did? You sure?
Probably did. Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay, so just stick it back in here. Have you signed it?
Stick it back in there, yeah.
Turn it back in there, okay, good. All right, moving on. All right, vote of intent to town meeting, we've done that, established the thing. Discussion on town property at Swiss Beach.
Nothing on the folder.
I know, I see it. All right, go ahead, Mr. Chair.
We had a whole bunch of what we call pending issues. The Swiss Beach property that the town bought some time ago has been sitting for a long time, and we really haven't had anything. So, again, we're picking up a lot of things that have just been left sitting, and I just brought it up this time to start to have some kind of discussion. There's been nothing brought up ahead of time, but again, it's just open for initial discussion right now. It has nothing to do with anything else except the property itself.
Yep. I
Is the
can,
title wrong?
I've, been interested in this property off and on over the years, and I can give the board a little history synopsis. In the fall 2003 town meeting authorized the Board of Selectmen to acquire the property by any means, purchase, taking, and this is the approximately 5-acre parcel that belonged to a woman named Barbara Dighton Houpt. The town meeting authorized that to happen. The Selectmen in December of that year did vote to take, recorded a deed of taking in the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds. I'm not sure what the exact funding mechanism initially was. I do know that in fall 2004, among other items, in one community preservation article, this was actually a list of line items that they had within one article, as opposed to their current practice where they identify each expenditure that they're looking to make in a separate article. Swiss Beach, $245,000 was included. It was just a simple one-line description. There was no discussion about a conservation restriction or anything else. It was just an allocation of money. Town meeting passed it. The town then proceeded to lose the lawsuit that was filed by the ex-property owner and was on the hook for an additional $1.1 million beyond what had been paid by the town to the property owner. So in fall 2007, once again, there was a community preservation article. This time it was a standalone article to spend $1.1 million in community preservation money to pay off the judgment. That passed. Once again, there was no discussion of a conservation restriction. The land back in 2003 was taken for, quote, general municipal purposes. It wasn't taken as conservation land. It wasn't taken for preservation reasons. Wasn't taken as a nature preserve. It was simply taken for general municipal purposes. Now, to this day, the town holds the land pursuant to a deed of taking under general municipal purposes. It's different than the other beaches in town. That much I think we can all say. Every other beach in town that the town owns has some kind of beach restriction on it. Onset, for example, probably the strangest beach in the state in terms of how the town came to be responsible for it, but it is preserved for the purposes of beaching, bathing, and boating. The other parcels on Swiss Beach, I believe, were acquired with language in town meeting warrant articles back in the 50s as beaches. I know that Little Harbor, there's language in there as a beach. So this is pretty much the only beach we have that we own in this town that is held according to general municipal purposes. Now, over the years, this has given rise to all kinds of speculation that, you know, they're going to sell it, somebody's going to put a 40-story hotel there, various conspiracy theories as to what's going to happen with the land. Obviously, none of those things have happened.
People have said things like that.
I can tell you that under the very restrictive codes today, the prior owner of the land, who had secured a DEP permit, a superseding order, allowing her to build a 2-family house, couldn't even get that done today. So what we're left with is a 5-acre parcel of land that's a beach. It's got an ugly fence in front of it. It's held under general municipal purposes. And I really think it's time to put this to bed by treating it as we do every other beach in town. My suggestion is that we should have a town meeting warrant article to rededicate the land for beach purposes, be done with it. It'll solve a long-standing fractious political issue. It will make the beach like the other beaches in town. And it will put people on notice that we've got this nice parcel of land and you should go out and use it. So those are my general thoughts on it.
Mrs. Whiteside? Mr. Tropiano?
I agree, it's time to do something with this. You know, I was involved with this taking. I sat on this board when we took the property. And there were a lot of issues, and a lot of not so good issues that occurred. There was a lot of things that were not done properly. There was a huge conflict of interest involved that we didn't know about at the time we did it. If we had, we probably wouldn't have done it. Matter of fact, after it happened, I was able to talk to Mary Jane Pillsbury and a couple of the other board members that were on the board at the time, and all of us agreed that we would have never taken this parcel at all if we had known about the conflict of interest that existed on the property. That really caused us a problem with this property. Now, as it turns out, this property is one of 3 parcels that we got at that particular time. We got one from Papa George, who had just passed away, and they gave us that parcel. If you look at that whole side, the way it's laid out, one came from Papa George, one came from Cindy Chamberlain's mother, who gave us the piece in the middle, and then we got this piece. And we thought it was great because we could connect the whole beach together. You know, we had all 3 pieces and it connected the whole beach, and it was, you know, perfect. What else would you want to do with it? You know? And all I know is it looks pretty awful down there with a fence sitting around it, and it just needs to be taken care of and cleaned up. And I totally agree that we should rededicate this back as a beach.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak, please, briefly?
No,
For 1 minute?
no.
All right, Mr. Chairman, may I speak to the board for a minute?
Not-
I'd just like to
No.
discuss a couple of the points that were just made that I think would be very helpful in clarifying to the community.
No.
Just take a brief moment.
No.
I have to say no at this time, Bruce, because we didn't have it in the agenda. I apologize, but we didn't put it that way as
That's
an
no
open.
problem. I respect the board's opinion and your rights as well. I'd like to ask that this board have the SBIA come before it so that we can discuss the conservation restriction as a whole. We delivered the documents to you today.
Yep, I spoke to you.
Board. I know you haven't had time to review it. It's over 400 pages. So we'd like the opportunity to discuss
We
how
can't be
that-
talking at all. I'm sorry, we can't
Thank
do
you.
this.
I spoke to you earlier today. I'll get back to you.
We can't do this. You know that's wrong.
I know.
We can't do it. We're gonna get ourselves in trouble. I don't wanna get in trouble. I
Any
don't
other
need it.
comments from the board?
No.
Mr.
Yeah, I just,
Holmes is not here, so we don't have his opinion at this time yet.
Right.
Which we should have, because it should be a
Everybody.
five-member board decision on this.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to bring it back on the 5th, just to finish up.
I totally agree.
yeah, I just, you know, this isn't about really looking backward. This is more about looking to the future, in my eyes. You know, again, it's been politically difficult. It's been personally difficult for some people, regardless of where you fall on the issue. It caused a lot of problems in this town. I really think that the best way to do it is just for us to, as a town, come to a resolution with regard to the property. And my way of thinking is a beach is a beach is a beach. And I don't know that we have conservation restrictions on any of our other beaches. I don't know that we take beaches for conservation purposes as much as we take them for recreation purposes. And I think sometimes those two different interests can clash. On the other hand, we know that we have a Conservation Commission that enforces the Wetlands Protection Act. In this case, I believe also the River Protection Act, because I think this is technically still along the Wareham River. So there are limits to what you can do with the beach property. So it's not as though if you say make it a beach property, you're saying it's wide open to every possible use. You're not. I know that, again, the original proposal that the prior property owner wanted and actually got permission to build from DEP would never be allowed there even today. You would not be able to put up a 2-family house there. It's in a velocity zone. You've got the Wareham additional bylaw that protects wetlands that it would, I don't think would permit this. It's too close. You've got changes in the DEP regs. You've got, and so you've got
Not to mention
changes.
the FEMA maps.
And, yeah, well, the FEMA map would make it uninsurable. You can build anything you want, it's just you won't get it insured. But that's the deal with FEMA. They don't care where you build it, they just won't insure it.
Well, I think the discussion really is, we have something sitting here, we have to make a decision somewhere down the line if we're going to do something or not. The other issue that we're going to have to also discuss, the town council's not here, is that we did take CPA money initially, voted by town meeting, and then we took CPA money again for over $1 million. And normally, you have a CPA, we won't get into the conservation restriction, but they basically require that this particular group that Bruce is mentioning had been approved as far as actually holding one, if there is going to be a CR. So the actual issue is, if the town is going to do something different, have a warrant article, you need to also ask town council what happens with the $1.5 million that was used for CPA funds.
I would suggest the DOR isn't really scrutinizing this awfully carefully, otherwise we'd be receiving monthly letters saying, where's our CR?
I'm going to say that probably the CPC committee will be scrutinizing it, and we will be happy to answer it. So I think we need
I
to
don't
have
think they
those
have any
answers.
jurisdiction over the documents we sign.
They don't, but I'm just saying, I think it's an issue that needs to be discussed as well.
Well, we can discuss it. We can
You know,
discuss
'cause it's not-
everything.
Yeah.
This is like a lot of things in the town of Wareham. There's no simple answer because it's convoluted.
We can
Okay.
discuss
It's got an
everything.
interesting history.
I will move this over to the 5th of August to finish up, so Mr. Holmes can weigh in as well, because this has to be a 5-member board
Remember, the 5th
decision.
of August is National Night Out, so
We're
you've got to
gonna move it,
figure
we're gonna
out
move it to a date
that week.
that week.
Can we do it that Monday?
We'll discuss it at the end of the meeting. Thank you. All right.
Okay, discussion of current current meeting, discussion of a current meeting with Neil Rim?
Neil, you want to come up?
Neil, come on down. How do you say it, Neil? Rhyme, okay. No litter town. Yeah, there's a cable right there to pull on the side of your,
I also have it on, it's easier if I just put this in there.
Give it a shot, see which one
I
works
don't know,
best for
Derek
us.
can probably tell you that. Derek's into that whole PowerPoint thing.
Well, your equipment's as old as ours, and it is, God bless.
He's got a ThinkPad, so we're all in trouble.
No.
You want to take a 5-minute break while they set this up?
Yes.
We're going to take a 5-minute break while they set this up, please. Bob? You all set?
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, Neil, it's yours again.
Okay,
Just a very quick thing. Neil sent me a note. He had read on one of the newspapers, I'm not sure which one, the issue about being a no-litter town, and we wanted to basically start to work on that. And Neil sent an email about a particular program that they have, and is going to present us some information. Go ahead,
Okay.
sir.
hi, good evening, thanks for having me. I'm Neil Ryan, I'm coming to you from Mansfield, Massachusetts, right up 495, and I'm here representing Keep America Beautiful and Keep Massachusetts Beautiful, which is a new nonprofit organization that I'm launching. And I'm here to talk about, I know Mr. Slavin here mentioned the litter problem I've seen in the newspaper, and I know just want you to know you're not alone on that issue. It's the same problem across the state and across the country, including in Mansfield. But I want to talk tonight about the benefits of forming a Keep America Beautiful affiliate and partnering with Keep Massachusetts Beautiful to help clean up the town as far as litter is concerned and many other issues. So first off, I'm going to give you some background on Keep America Beautiful. The mission is engaging individuals to take greater responsibility for improving their community environment. So it's really a grassroots type of organization where citizens, the local business people, and town government come together to try to focus on some of these issues. The citizens, you see some pictures, volunteers here in Mansfield can do a lot, but they need help from business owners and government. But we've found in Mansfield and across the country, as you'll see later, that working together, it's really everybody wins. The residents end up living in a cleaner, more attractive town. Businesses, if those that support these programs get some positive public relations benefits. Their employees, if they volunteer in the community, they get to work, in the community, help out in the community where they work, and it makes the town a more attractive place to do business. So there's also an economic component to all of this. We're not simply a bunch of tree huggers. Not that that's a bad thing. Tree huggers are fine. And then finally, towns benefit, financially through the cumulative volunteer hours that are given to these efforts. Save the towns lots of money, save DPWs lots of work. I know in Mansfield, in my community, our DPW director talks about the fact that he never gets calls about litter anymore. So just some more background on Keep America Beautiful. It's a large organization. It's been around since 1953. If you remember those commercials from the 1970s with the crying Indian paddling down the river, we're all old enough to remember that here, I think. They're behind those ads. And it actually started, Lady Bird Johnson was very much involved in it back in the 60s as well. So it's been around a long time. There are 580 affiliates around the country, hundreds and thousands of other affiliated organizations. In Massachusetts, there's 3 affiliates. It's Keep Mansfield Beautiful, Keep North Attleboro Beautiful, and Keep Springfield Beautiful. And now we're forming Keep Massachusetts Beautiful to help grow the affiliate base around the state. Also, Keep America Beautiful can't do this work on their own. They partner with a lot of major corporations, as you see here, as well as many nonprofit agencies and government agencies. So the 3 primary areas of focus are litter prevention and cleanup, which I know seems to be an issue here, at least at your beaches and I'm guessing in other places in town. Beautification and community greening, which I'll talk a little bit about later, and waste reduction and recycling. So those are the 3 primary areas. And just some facts here on litter. While you look around, you see it, you say, oh, it's a mess. Ironically, it's actually better than it used to be. Keep America Beautiful did a study in 2009, comparing to the last major study they did, which was 1969. And overall, the amount of roadside litter is down in this country. She doesn't believe it. The bad news is the amount of plastic litter is way up, primarily because plastic beverage containers didn't exist back then. And then they also studied where is the litter coming from. And as you can see here, it's a combination of motorists, Obviously, those people with still continue to throw things out their car windows. Pedestrians, improperly covered trucks. And, when you add it all up, it's a lot of money to clean this up, not to mention the unsightly mess. And then, interestingly, they really studied, they actually watched people in public places, and they found that 81% of littering occurs with notable intent, so it's not a mistake. But what they've also found is that people tend to littered landscapes. So if they see litter, they somehow consciously or unconsciously say, all right, I guess it's okay to litter here. So it's kind of akin to that broken window theory, where if you keep things clean, they tend to stay clean to a large extent. And we've found that in Mansfield and other places around the country. There's a lot of programs that Keep America Beautiful offers. The Great American Cleanup is the largest. And that's an annual event that starts in the spring and goes all around the country, primarily focused on litter cleanup, but it can be other things, all kinds of projects. There's a cigarette litter prevention program. There's several programs that dedicated to recycling, either in schools or at universities, or just in towns like Wareham. There's some educational things such as Waste in Place, which tries to teach young people about these lessons. There's a program that focuses on graffiti, and National Planting Day. And the good thing about Keep America Beautiful is that it's flexible. There's no mandate as an affiliate that you have to do any of these programs. It wouldn't make sense to do none of them, otherwise you wouldn't want to be an affiliate. But there's flexibility to choose what works for your town. So it's very decentralized is what it boils down to. And I just want to talk a little bit about what we've accomplished in Mansfield over this last 7 years, which really started out with myself driving around town and complaining about the litter to my wife, who got tired of hearing it, and finally said, well, why don't you do something about it? So I said, all right, well, maybe I will. So long story short, we got together with some like-minded citizens, the town manager, some business owners, and said, let's have a litter cleanup in the spring. And we thought we'd get maybe 100 people or 200 people max, and we ended up with about 700. And we collected tons of tires and appliances and stuff that had been out in the woods and along the roadsides for years. And then every year since then, including this past May, we had our 7th annual cleanup. Every year we get 600-700 people. Every year the amount of trash we pick up declines. All those large items are gone. We pick up a few tires here and there now, but for the most part, it's, I don't know if this is good news, but it's fresh litter. So it's not the stuff that's been sitting around for years. And in that process, we've educated, hundreds of students, school children about, by participating. Hopefully they're getting that message that, it's not good to litter and that they won't be the ones doing it down the road. We also focus on, I said, community greening and beautification. So we've got a downtown flower barrel program. I actually drove down your main street here today. Take a look what you're similar in some respects to Mansfield as far as the size of your town. So this is a program where we partner. Again, it's government, business, and volunteers. DPW helps us with the barrels, moving them around. We provide planted barrels to the business owners for a nominal fee. In the fall, they get a fresh planting of mums. This year we have over 70 barrels lining Main Street. Makes it an attractive place to visit and hopefully spend some of your money. And all business owners have to do is water them. That's their only responsibility. So that's been a great success. We have an Adopt a Spot program. These are similar, and you see these in many communities. But we've got 12, scouts groups, local landscapers, and so forth. 12 spots that have been adopted and beautified and maintained. So importantly, it's maintained. They get a small sign of recognition, but that's been a great success. And then also, through the work we've done, other groups have gotten involved. So there's a separate group was formed to create this large mural on an underpass in downtown Mansfield. And it's about 75 yards, 100 yards long, depicting the history of the town. And, we helped this effort get off the ground and help them with publicity and fundraising. It's going to be completed this summer, and it's a beautiful thing, a point of interest for downtown, which is an area we're really focusing on because we want people to come downtown and it to be a vital, economically vibrant area. One more beautification project you see on the left here. This was last fall. This is right before the entrance to the downtown Mansfield train station. It was basically a tangled mess of weeds. Through money we have raised from local businesses, we paid for half the cost, and the town paid the other half through the Parking Enterprise Fund to beautify that area, rip out those weeds, and you can see what was placed there in place of it. And that's all blooming and looking great this year. And that's really like the gateway to downtown Mansfield, so that was a key accomplishment for us. So as far as, why do communities join Keep America Beautiful? It's, I know that there's been some efforts in this town. I found a blog site dedicated to litter cleanup. It's really because, these organizations have been around for a long time, so you can learn from these other organizations around the country what works, what doesn't. It's like I said earlier, self-determination. You choose what programs you want to participate in. There's the national credibility, there's networking, there's an annual conference, and there's grants. Over the last several years, more than $10 million in grants have been given out to KAB affiliates from corporations such as Waste Management, Lowe's, UPS, Troy Built. So every year there's opportunities to apply for those grants, and we've gotten a couple of those in Mansfield. So there's some financial benefits as well. And the methodology, just briefly on this, there is a method to the madness here. So it really starts with a group of concerned citizens in combination with the town coming together, getting the facts. All right, so you've got your situation at the beach there with litter. Having people look at it, analyze it. Why is it happening? Brainstorming ideas. What can we do to fix it? Developing a plan. Focusing on the results and providing positive reinforcement when hopefully the problem is solved. And by having this, this committee in place, it's not kind of a one and done type situation. You've got people focused in on this for, year round. And our committee's been around since 2008. We've got 9 people on it. It's an official board of the town. And like I said, it's been highly successful. Overall, the process is, like I said, really the first step is having a community team. I saw something in the paper about a resident, I forget his name, a couple of years back, who was talking about a lot of the same things I'm talking about. I think he came to one of these meetings, and he had a letter in the newspaper. It was a local plumber. That rings any bells?
We don't want to go there.
I should have written his name down, but he was talking about a lot of these things. But really, it's you need people like that who are passionate about these issues to get things started. You apply to Keep America Beautiful. They come out. They do a half-day kind of orientation session on the programs, how the system works. There are some requirements because they want you to succeed, so they ask you to go off and get organized. Come back roughly 6 months later. They do a half-day training session, and then assuming that all goes well, you are a certified affiliate, and you can apply for those grants and get all the other benefits that I mentioned here. So that I promise to keep it brief is, my presentation. I'll open it up to any questions, but before I do that, I just want to say if there's anyone watching back home who is interested in these issues, you can go to our website, which is keepmassbeautiful.org, and see all kinds of information about the programs and how you can get organized. We are here to help communities get up and running. We share our documents with other communities, all our processes, so there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Try to make it as easy for people as possible. And like I said, our goal is to get this other towns around the state working on these issues so that collectively we can keep Massachusetts beautiful. So, any questions? Clarification? Anything I can
Mr.
add?
Titlebaum?
It was a very interesting presentation. Off the top of my head, I can think of 3 or 4 people in this town who would be extremely interested
Yeah.
in getting a committee up and running. Try to do something about the trash litter problems. They've actually brought trash right into these meetings to
Yeah.
complain about people not properly disposing of litter. So I'm sure they'd be driving forces behind getting this going.
Yeah, what we found, there's people, no one's opposed to this, which is a nice thing about it, as opposed to some of the other issues you're dealing with. But you've got some people that are obviously more passionate about it than others, and those are the people you want to get involved. We've even got a litter busters program, so we have an adopt a street program. So some people go out once a week and keep their street clean. And then we have these 1-hour cleanups several times a year where we just pick a spot, a prominent spot, on a main road and go out for 1 hour on a Saturday morning. We get 15, 20 people, bang, done. But it really keeps the focus year round on the problem or on the solution.
Mrs. Whiteside?
What does it cost to join?
It is there is a initiation fee. In Mansfield, we paid $1,250, and that money was raised from a local business donation. And then the annual fee is a whopping $150, and we've gotten that back and more in grants. And like I said, now that we've got a track record, we do an annual mailing to all the businesses in town. That just asks, we have different levels of sponsorship, and we raise around $8,000 a year through a single letter, which pretty much more than covers our expenses because it's a volunteer organization. So there's no cost to the town.
Is it a 501c3 or something?
We are not organized that way. We're through the town, so we're a board of the town.
Right, but
Keep Massachusetts Beautiful is in the process of.
So that the donations could in fact be written off?
Our
Is it a
donations
revolving
are
fund?
considered to a nonprofit because the town is considered a nonprofit.
So they do it through a revolving fund?
Yeah, they have a gift. We call it a gift fund in Mansfield. I don't know what you call it, but yeah. Or and if communities want to be a 501c3, that's fine too. There's all the flexibility that they want.
Separate letter committee, Friends of Litter or something.
Yeah.
You all set?
I'm set.
Okay.
Mr. Sullivan, any questions from you?
It was a very interesting presentation. I know we've had litter mobs. The gentleman you referenced before no longer lives here, and I think we need doers, which is...
You got fed up with the litter? You moved
No, I think I think it was vice versa, but
yeah, you do need doers.
we need doers on this, and there's a lot of them that we've had them bringing in. How does it, when you have your cleanups? How does the disposal work?
Yeah.
and stuff?
We so our big annual cleanup is we split it up by voting precinct. So each precinct has a precinct captain who's responsible for directing the volunteers in that precinct. So they know they know their own neighborhoods better than anyone. So they say, all right, we need 5 people on this street, 10 people on this street. So people come to a central meeting point on the day of the cleanup. They get their bags. They get their T-shirts. Everyone wants a T-shirt. That's our biggest expense a year. It's about $2,000 on T-shirts. The bags come from our DPW. They give those to us. They go off and collect them, leave them right on the side of the road. Our waste hauler is Waste Management, and they donate a truck. They come out, and they pick them up the same day. So this whole thing happens from 9 to noon, and it's done. and it's amazing the difference. We do it in the spring before anything's growing, so you can see the litter. There's no poison ivy yet, hopefully. And then we are fortunate to have the Comcast Center in Mansfield, or the Xfinity Center now. So we have a party afterwards for the volunteers with pizza and hot dogs, and it's a great community event. and we get tons of students involved, sports teams in the high schools. Really brings everyone together.
Excellent.
And our DPW, like I said, they don't get those calls.
If we get together and get a group started, put together initially, would you come out and sit down and talk to them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you leave us all your information.
Yep,
before you
I've
go?
got some little pamphlets here on the benefits of Keep America Beautiful. Just some background info.
We have people in different areas of the community that do a lot of litter pickup, and they get very frustrated because they go back 3 weeks later, and it's like they never touched anything, so.
Yeah, frankly, I don't know what possessed me to try to solve this problem, because it's the most frustrating problem in the world,
is.
because you clean it up and it comes back. But, over time, we have definitely seen a difference, cumulative difference. Not that we are 100% litter-free, but, it's more, it's definitely cleaner, and people are involved and taking pride in their community.
I think we can look into this further. I know we have people in town that would relish having some assistance to get this off the ground and running, because
Yeah.
if we can get community involvement all the way around, then we can probably go a good step of the way to solving our issues here.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I wish you the best. Here's some pasties out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you for your
very
time
much.
and patience in waiting.
It was really good entertainment, right? Yeah.
All right. And next we have Bay Point preliminary plans comments for the planning board. Now, go ahead.
The plans have been sitting upstairs in the office. I
Yeah,
don't know if
haven't
everybody
had
gets
enough
them.
time to get there yet.
Okay.
I'm going to this week, though.
That'll be good, because I think they'll be meeting, I think the second Tuesday in August, they'll be back.
I'll get in there this week for sure.
Thank you.
I want to take a look at those.
Mr. Titlebaum?
I did look at the plans. I don't have any particular comment about the plans themselves. I do wonder whether CETA, as both a landlord and a butter, it might be a good idea for planning to ask them as well, or if we should ask them, since we're theoretically under the Acts of 2004, we're kind of over them. If we should ask for their input as well. I don't have any personal input though. I mean, the plans are the plans. They looks nice.
Okay. We can do that. Mrs. Whiteside? Okay. I've gone through it when they actually had the meeting. What it is just a preliminary. The definitive plan will be the next time around for them, so they just asked us ahead of time if we would give any input at all. Usually we don't get involved at all, but I'm trying to keep us up to date with everything.
One thing I would like to just get out to the public on that is that the plans only involve construction of the residential homes, duplexes and single families both. It's mixed
Yes.
in that regard. Only on the 137-acre parcel that the golf club owns. It doesn't involve in any way, shape, or form the 7.5-acre parcel of land that CETA owns, which is where the restaurant is, or the function hall. What do you ever call it? It's not really their clubhouse. What would you call that thing?
Which one are we talking about now?
This is the property that CETA owns.
Property the Cedar owns also includes the land going over to where the,
Parking lot.
it's not
Yeah, there's a big parking
the
lot to the
parking
right
area,
as you
and
drive
then it goes
in.
down to where, it's not a clubhouse, but it's where you go off to pick, the
The
start
function
golf.
hall.
The function hall is on the left side.
Yeah,
It's really just the place where you go and you sign up to play golf and
Just the
stuff.
clubhouse.
It's a clubhouse is what they call it.
clubhouse is on that too. So,
Yeah, the
but they,
clubhouse is on the land.
but that's the leased property. But
Clubhouse
none
in
of
the
the
parking lot.
none of
Yes.
the development plans are indicated to take place on the leased property, just on the owned property.
Correct. What there is, just so everybody knows, there's 94 lots. There'd be 115 residences, 73 single-family, 21 duplexes. Duplexes are over to the right side as you come in the main road. Be on the right. The singles will be all on the left side, lower. Single homes will be the 1 or 2 bedrooms, 1,500 to 1,800 square feet. Duplexes are 1,600 to 1,800 square feet. Also have one-car garages. I'm trying to see if they have town water, town sewage. Average lot sizes are 6,000 to 12,000 square feet.
Well, there is no such thing as town water.
There's no town sewer up there.
Yeah, there is.
They came before us and obtained a conditional permit.
Yeah.
How are they going to get to it?
Comes up through.
No, it doesn't, because Robinwood Road's right there, and that's all septic.
Yeah, no, there's town sewage there.
Where are they gonna get the sewer from? They gotta come down quite a ways.
Yeah, they're gonna come down Onset Avenue.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long ways down.
It's gonna be a big pipe.
I guess so. All right.
Mr. Campaign approved it.
Any other town business not reasonably anticipated in the last 48 hours? Mr. Titlebaum.
Nothing.
Ms. Whiteside. Nothing for me. Mr. Sullivan.
I've done enough damage for the day.
How about you, Mr. Town Administrator?
No, I won't pull that one yet.
All right, good.
Actually, we have item number 9A that you wanted to speak about.
Yeah, discussion of failing sewer infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All
You
right,
know,
so, go ahead.
This one's on here, we had talked about, Swiss Beach, we had talked about Onset. I know that when 2 meetings ago with the sewer director, when we set the sewer EDU rate for the year, we got the number of 34.5 million out of him for what he anticipates are going to be the necessary infrastructure replacement costs for various parts of the town sewer that are already in existence. This doesn't include new sewering, just existing sewers.
Right.
And so, when Chairman Slavin wanted to put Swiss Beach sewer on the agenda, I said, I think we need to take a global look at all of the areas. Now, obviously, we don't have a sewer meeting tonight, so I don't know that amongst the 4 of us, we're gonna get a whole heck of a lot done. But I think at least if we can agree that we need to look at all of this going forward, before the transition to sewer commissioners, so that they have a sense of what that $34.5 million is, what it means in terms of costs, what it means in terms of a 20-year plan perhaps to resolve these things, what else is going to fall apart in 20 years that hasn't fallen apart yet. I mean, these are all things that we need to be thinking about.
Yeah,
Mrs. Whiteside?
yeah.
Mr. Tropiano?
Yeah, no, that's actually, we've been discussing those kinds of things in the various sort of areas and so on in our meetings. We have a meeting tomorrow, actually, and we'll be talking more about this. The Swiss Beach area is a prime concern to us right now because there's so much inflow down there, inflow and infiltration, that there's probably 100,000 gallons of flow that we're losing down there that we could have every day in our system, like overnight, by just upgrading that system. So that's a concern to us. We also have some onset issues that have some inflow and infiltration that we're going to be talking about as well. But, believe it or not, by reducing the inflow and infiltration, that will reduce the ultimate cost of the upgrade. And the reason for that is because right now we're treating seawater in most cases. And we're talking like 100,000 gallons of water that we know of probably from Swiss Beach every single day. That's nothing but seawater. Obviously, we don't want to do that because that costs money to do. So if you reduce that and get it out of the way, that certainly reduces our costs. And if we reduce our costs, of course, we can use the cost to help do the upgrades. So, I mean, there's a lot of that's going to be sort of worked at as we go along.
I appreciate Mr. Tropiano working. This is something that we've been discussing for 4 or 5 years, and again, it's kind of get slid off to the side constantly, and these are things we have to recognize and go forward on. Thank you.
All right, Town Administrator's report. Go for it. Be quick, too. You got 3 minutes. And look, he's got 2 pages of stuff over there.
Want me to speed read it for you?
Yes, yeah, get the speed reader out.
I'm happy to announce with some of the capital updates that the new ambulance has arrived. It was approved in 2013. It is four-wheel drive, which for some of the locations we have is excellent. It's the first new ambulance since 2006, so almost 8 years. It was purchased through a 3-year capital lease, meaning that we will own it with a $0 buyout at the end after FY16. So when people hear lease, they often think it's just return, but that we will own that ambulance. This has been funded in the EMS budget. The EMS budget is paid from revenue that it generates, and any excess revenue flows to the general fund, which in turn goes to free cash. So we have now implemented it where every 3 years we're able to bring in a new ambulance. So we don't get into the same situation we have now where we had a 99, a 2001, and a 2006 ambulance, which meant at times we had no ambulance. So this is one of the items that we're proud to put together and put basically a vehicle replacement program together for the EMS. It's also a revenue generator. If you remember, when we have the ambulances down, we're not generating the revenue. So I appreciate Mr. Evans' hard work on this, putting it together, and the vehicle is excellent, and I hope none of us ever have to ride in it. So we've also received the last 2 of the 3 vehicles that were authorized in the June 18th, 2013 town meeting. They are the Ford Interceptor SUVs.
Nice.
And they ended up being cheaper than the Charger alternative. Now, some people had asked why they took so long. There was a contract for Dodge Chargers, which Interim Chief Walsh needed to work at to break, and did an excellent job in doing it and making sure we received the vehicles that was requested by this Board of Selectmen and the residents of the town.
You know, I want to thank you for getting that worked out, because I knew that that was a problem, that the other chief had made commitments that he shouldn't have made, in my estimation. And you and the chief did a great job of getting that resolved and getting the right vehicles in here for the right job.
Well, thank you. And that's entirely on Chief Walsh. He did an excellent job. So, I did attend yesterday's road commissioners meeting, and there was changes to the onset parking plan. There were three changes that they voted upon. One is that 4 full season guest passes are available for each residential property for a cost of $5 per pass. So they can have them in the house. Somebody comes over, they can put it right on there. They don't have to worry about running down to the harbor master's office or shack. That's on the pier. It's not really a shack. It's nice, but that's what we call it. That should be able to help people, and the cost is only $5. And again, they're good for the full season. Now, while I'm saying season, is they've also voted that the program will run seasonally, and that this year it will end on October 31st. They had presumed that it started, they had spoken about it beginning again on May 1st, but they did not vote that that would be the start date. The third change, I'm going to see if I can read this out so it's understandable. There'll be a moratorium on ticketing within a quarter-mile radius of the churches in the program area during the hours of religious services. So in other words, one of the questions was there's 3 churches in the area. When they hold the services and people from outside that parking area, again, that map, come to worship, where they're going to be ticketed. And Mr. Buckminster had gone to other communities and asked them how they handled it. And essentially they do a moratorium during that time.
Good idea.
Yeah, because handling it any other way, creating special placards for that, it was going to be tough.
That's actually a good idea.
They did not put a time frame on it, so during the day. So in other words, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It's one of the recommendations that the harbor master had made. I think he went to 6 p.m. because we know the main issue is with the beach goers during the day. And at night, there's a different crowd that comes in to go to more of the restaurants and such. It isn't the same large crowd usually. So I know that that's something that hopefully when they get back together, they will look at. Now, this looks to be the last changes made for this season. They're going to come together in the fall. The request was that when summer residents are still here, so I would imagine some of them are still around during the September time frame, that the road commissioners have some open public forums to hear what worked, what didn't work, and see what changes can be made to the 2015 season.
Wait till he's finished.
And that's
it.
Done with that particular thing. Okay, so...
Mr. Tropiano, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So, Derek, one of the things that we talked about in here was the need for fast and furious and hard enforcement. And I saw that in some of the people coming in. I read their accounts, and some of them were concerned about there being no enforcement. Because if there is no enforcement,
Doesn't work.
the parking program doesn't mean a thing.
Right.
So we need to, for a certain period of time, so that they get the message. And I don't know how you're gonna do this, I don't know how you're gonna budget it, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I don't know if you authorize, like I know in the cities, what they do is they authorize the tow guys to go around and tow.
Okay.
And they see them, they just pull the cars out and take them away. If they're wrong, they just take them. And I don't know if that's something we can do, we should talk to town council about that, or how we can do it. But they basically, you know, it happens and it gets taken care of. Whatever the issue is, it has to be hard, it has to be serious, because without it, there is no, you might as well take the thing and just throw it in the barrel. Because we already have seen that the visitors are parking in the spots.
Right.
And you know what? For $25, okay, so ticket me, who cares? You know what I mean? I have $25 a day to park, to go to the beach, I'm all right with that.
Especially when you only get ticketed every 10th time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and you may not even ticket me that day, so I'm good with it, you know what I mean? So there's not enough there, so the only way you can do that is to make sure you tow these cars, and of course that requires that we post it.
Yeah, they
When we
do.
were down there today, and there were indications residents only, permit parking only, but there was nothing about towing. So absent notice of towing,
Well, we have to put the notices up, we've gotta get that
It did
somehow.
say tow, will be towed on the
Huh?
bottom. It didn't say ticketed, it said towed. So
Somehow, we gotta get the notices up, we gotta make people know we're serious, and believe me, it won't take long, the word will go out.
It was
And
driving
people,
too fast.
and people will know, and you won't have to do so much of that. But they'll know and understand that they can't park there, that they gotta park in the parking lots. I wouldn't mind, but we have one free parking lot, right out loud.
We do, yep, Heinz Field.
You know what I mean? It's not like we're saying, well, you have to do it. I mean, if you can't afford it, go park in the free one, walk down.
Yeah.
All right.
And I drive a
Thank you.
Prius, there's no way
Mr.
I was going too
Titlebaum?
fast.
no, I would hope that they would at least consider before the end of this year going to an end of day. Yeah, I don't see any need to enforce this at 8 o'clock at night, and I think it's going to be, it turns, again, the issue was always parking during the day when people mob the beach. It was, I don't recall any complaints about I can't find a place to park at night. And what we're finding now is that it makes it a little tougher for the businesses, some of them, because there is limited parking down there. We all know that, especially in some areas. So I would personally, my recommendation to them as an individual selectman is just going to be that you do reconsider and you talk about a 6 or a 7 o'clock cutoff on the parking. Other than that, I think they're just going to have to wait until they get to the end of it, hear from the police, hear from the selectmen, hear from certainly the citizens down there about how it did work, and then go ahead and try to plan for next year, see if there can be some improvements added.
Mrs. Whiteside? I just want to make very quick comments. Mr. Evans, when he outfitted the particular vehicle, that vehicle was for a couple weeks sitting in a couple shows, which in turn saved us quite a bit of money. So I'd like to thank Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Evans, because I think the truck came in at about $217 approximately, and the original price of the truck was going to be almost $250. So that was a good savings. Also, being a four-wheel drive, and if we have bad weather, we don't have to have the fire department or the police department out there shoveling the road so the ambulance can get in. This makes a huge difference how that vehicle actually works. And it's a heavy duty.
That's what they have plows for.
I know what they have plows for, but the plows may not be there in time. And this is also, even though Mr. Tropiano is not a big Dodge fan, this is a super heavy duty. It's what they call a medium heavy duty truck chassis with a big Cummins motor in it. So this thing will last a long time. You're looking at a 500,000-mile vehicle as far as the engine.
Must have at least 10 inches.
No, it has nothing to do with Dodges, it just has to do with those.
I'm sorry, it has an air suspension that you can raise and lower it, whatever you need to do.
Actually,
Actually,
those particular Dodges.
the back of it goes right
It'll
to the
actually go
ground.
down to help you so you can lower you can bring the patient in.
But in terms of some of those roads that you travel
You can raise the suspension
Yeah.
for clearance.
You can raise it.
Yes.
If the Prius made it, the ambulance can make it.
Well, you know, there's some ruts out there, big ruts. I don't know how they're gonna get down those roads,
You're going to fill them first.
especially if you don't plow
That's why we got four-wheel drive.
them. Yeah, okay. All right.
I've got a tree for you, too, by the way.
Liaison reports, Mr. Titlebaum.
I don't think I've done any liaising.
Ms. Whiteside.
I've done liaising. Last week, we had asked that the cemetery commissioners come in because I have some concerns about what is and what isn't being done. And they asked that that be postponed. So we continue to have questions about how things are getting done and in a timely fashion or not. The other liaising I did was attend 5 hours of union negotiations on the school contract A, the teachers. 5 hours of contract negotiations is about
4 hours more than you wanted to do?
4 hours and 59 minutes more than I wanted to do. I'm learning a lot, I have to say. I really am learning a lot. Thank you.
I'm all set. We talked about a little bit of sewer business, and we don't need to really deal with that right now, so I'm all set.
Finance Committee last week voted to make Mrs. Cattouli the chairman of the Finance Committee. Donna Brock, who's the new member coming on, who served for 6 years before, was made the vice chair. I'm trying to think what else we have. That's really it.
Donna Brock's dad was Frank.
Okay.
Yes, I know.
All right, next I have consent agenda. I have no bills. I have a set of minutes. I move we approve the Board of Selectmen executive session meeting minutes from July 8th, 2014.
And hold.
And hold, yes.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? 4-0-0.
And that is it for this evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Motion to adjourn by somebody?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Titlebaum, second by Mrs. Whiteside. All those in favor?
Aye.
Awesome.
Thank you. 4-0-0. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.